Well, it was Arrighetti's day. He went out and had career-high strikeouts. The Astros backed it up with an offense, and the pitchers as a whole shut the door, shut out the Mariners for a final win to salvage one game in Seattle before coming back for a 6-game homestand. Let's talk about this. And what did Mr. Bregman say about the boos in Seattle? We'll talk about this and more.
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You find me on X at Eric Talk Astros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast and become an everydayer. Somebody listens to our podcast every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. So, Brett, I know that yesterday's game got me a little bit heated, a little bit more heated than normal games. I'm still a little bit ticked off with this series. Like you had a chance to really leapfrog the Mariners, and you basically crap the bed, so to speak. But when you're not watching the Astros win today, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town House on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. They can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X and on Instagram, where I am always positive, always Stros. Look, This was a good way to leave Seattle. You like to have a getaway game going back home, and it was a good thing to see Alex Bregman go yard. Caratini went yard, but Spencer Arrighetti continues to improve and get better. Eric, earlier today, I did a feature on the pitcher of the week for the Pacific Coast League and Blair Henley, and talked about Jesus Bastidas. But if you go look at AAA, you look at guys like Colton Gordon, there are some guys in AAA that are pitching really, really well. And with all the uncertainty of the Astros' future for their starting pitchers, Jose Urquidy, there seems to be more worry because they're getting other second and third opinions. I'm thinking he's going to be out for the year, but Garcia, McCullers look good. If we can get the pitching right, we can get Ronell still rolling, Arrighetti. If Hunter Brown comes home and he does a good job, that's great. But it really all hinges on this offense, Eric. And you score 4 runs today. If your pitchers do their job, that should be enough. And they scored for the first time in 8 games, actually. They scored in more than 1 inning this game.
So and this is the first time they did it with 7 games straight, and so this is the first time they would have set a major league mark if they would have done it. But I guess that's what you have to do if you want to win. You have to score more often than just in 1 inning. That's breaking news. I didn't know this. And so I guess Joe Espada didn't know this. The Astros didn't know this. So this is something that you have to do. You have to score more early, and you have to score often. And that's kind of what the Astros did in this game. So I'm not going to – I'll give them credit for winning this game. I'll give Spencer Arrighetti a lot of credit. But they still missed the ball here. They could have gained some ground on the Mariners in this whole series. And the pitching for the first time, this is not on the pitching. The pitching has done its job this series, and especially the starting pitchers. In this series, they have limited the Mariners. The starting pitchers have gone deep into the game, each game, 6 innings, each one is starting pitchers for the Astros. But in the last 8 games, there's been 7 quality starts for the Astros. That's 49 innings, only 34 hits, 13 runs, 14 home runs, 14 walks, 15 strikeouts, more importantly, a 191 batting average against and a 220 batting ERA. So the starting pitching is getting it done. But if you're not scoring runs, if you're not getting a job done offensively, it doesn't matter how good the bullpen is. Every bullpen's going to spring a leak every once in a while, and that's what's been happening in this series. And even if Justin Verlander goes out there and does 7 innings where he only gives up that solo home run, if you can't give him that offense like Spencer Arrighetti did today, Spencer Arrighetti, he did great. Props to him. This kid is maturing in front of our eyes. And I know that we gave him a lot of, not really crap, but I think that he ran into a lot of bad luck. But we see this curveball, the breaking pitch, just kind of like making these big league hitters look foolish. And he had a career high 8 strikeouts in this game and no runs, only 2 hits. This is the fewest hits he's allowed in a game in his big league career. So his ERA in his past 4 starts is 3.63.
So he had 14 swings and misses today. Josh Hader had 6 swings and misses. Presley had 3. Montero had 2. They were missing barrels today. And that was excellent. But even as frustrated as you say you are, and of course I know all of us are, because this was a series that we really could have taken advantage and taken charge of the AL West. It's not like the Mariners came in and like kicked our tail. It's not like the Mariners beat the ever living crap out of the Astros. I mean, if this is the best the Mariners have to offer now, I give them credit. They won the series so far. They have won the season series against the Astros. And yes, during the regular season, the last 2 years, they pretty much own us when it comes to regular season. And so I get that. I was being accused of not giving the Mariners their respect. Well, I'm sorry, guys. Y'all always seem to do great in the regular season, but just can't do it in the playoffs. So until you start doing that, I'll give you a little bit less respect. But I absolutely love this because, Eric, this game could have gone south, but it didn't. You know, Arrighetti gave up, I think, like 5 or 6 hard hit balls, but they were all to somebody. And I remember growing up hearing, look, if you pitch the ball, you throw it in the strike zone, your job's to throw strikes. You've got a defense behind you. The defense looked good today. There were some key plays. Jeremy Pena going across the field to get that out at first. Heck, there was some good defense on the Mariners, and J.P. Crawford made one of the best relays awesome. To the second baseman, to the first base. I mean, to get that out was actually.
And France picking the ball, too, at first base. I thought that was going to get away, but that was a great play. And Dubon's just like, come on, I'm finally getting to play, and you're going to rob me of this hit? What's up with that?
So here's the thing. Spencer Arrighetti continues this climb going up. We've got Ronel Blanco going Friday night. We've got Hunter Brown, who's been pitching better lately. He is 1-5. But I really think this next series is a key series, because if we can get hits against the Twins, and the Twins have hung their hat on their pitching like the Mariners have, that would be a step in the right direction. Maybe you take this game. I still don't believe you carry momentum from town to town, from series to series, but I think the Astros have played better at home. Obviously, they're 7-3 their last 10 games. Maybe home is where the heart is this year, and maybe home is where they fix their woes. And if they can get that going, look, Yordan Alvarez is hitting. He's just not hitting home runs. We've seen a drop in Pena's average. Diaz is getting a lot of criticism, and I've got some thoughts on that in our last segment of what's going on there. But dude, if Alex Bregman could turn things around offensively, can we
don't tease us, Breggy? Don't tease us though.
Can we keep him 6th? Can we just keep him lower in the order? I mean, he hits better when he's down there right now.
Yeah, just remember that Arrighetti, just before we get off Arrighetti, he came into this game with a 6.93 ERA. He had he also had a FIP of 3.90. So meaning he's pitched a lot better than his ERA has shown. And so he lowered his ERA to 5.98. So he did a great job today, and he did it in 90 pitches. So 6 scoreless innings. I think this kid is the legit pitcher the Astros need. I don't know. I put Ace Arrighetti on here. I don't know if he's going to be the Astros ace, but I think he is what the Astros needed after all the injuries. And I'm sure you heard about what happened. We'll talk about that a little bit later, or what we don't know about. Definitely when the GM says stuff that they said, it makes it a little bit suspicious what's going on. We'll talk about this and more in a second.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and check out the deal they have for you. And I'm here to tell you that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel also will list the Houston Astros as the 6th most likely team to win the World Series. That's right. Believe it or not just because of the win in Seattle, but because they know their stuff. And they also have odds on the NBA playoffs as well as NHL playoffs. It's winner take all time in both of those leagues, giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's right. You win a $5 bet, you get $150 in bonus bets. And you can use that to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. And please go ahead and get your phone out if you're watching this on your computer, or if you're watching this on your computer, or just go and click that little red button down there and hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Tell a friend and go and help us there. Just tell a buddy and just try to help us there and give us a big fat thumbs up while you're there. And go and tell them about the Locked On Astros podcast as well with Michael Connor. You can watch everything on your Amazon Fire TV stick. Just search the free channels app and you can go ahead and watch this. So before we get started on Alex Bregman, don't you tease us. I do want to make sure everybody knows the reason why I'm wearing this cool shirt is Brett is being kind enough to let me go on a vacation next week. I'll be on a cruise.
Okay,
so
hold on.
I have a reason for bringing this. Well, I know you're not really being nice about it, but you're being nice. I'm just kidding. But let's say the Astros go on a winning streak here. I'm going to need somebody else to sponsor me another cruise. So go ahead and start lining up, start a GoFundMe. I'll go ahead and accept more cruises if the Astros go on a winning streak while I'm on a cruise. I just go ahead and say that.
See, I'm just glad the cruise that I'm going on is February of 2025. But yeah, dude, but seriously, Eric is his own man. He does not need my permission. I know. I think he told me a while back that you're going. Yeah, see you later. But yeah, man, enjoy it. Have fun. We'll definitely hold the fort down. I'm working on lining up some guest co-hosts as well for this next week, or I may do a couple shows solo. So a couple things. Garrett had asked me, and I think Garrett watched the earlier episode where I was talking about Jesus Bastidas, and and I'm just going to address this question. If you haven't seen that episode or listened to the episode talking about what's going on in AAA, make sure you check that out. He asked, would they demote Gray Kessinger for someone like Jesus Bastidas? I think Jesus Bastidas still needs to continue to do what he's doing. He has definitely been a surprise, but he could be a bench utility guy for your infield. But the only problem is I guess he's in the same shoes that Gray's in. I mean, Gray's not getting much playing time. I mean, right. Dubon showed up today. All of a sudden, Dubon is there. Whoa, Dubon plays on the Astros still.
Well, they had to bench Tucker for it.
Yeah, that I wasn't a fan of the lineup when I saw it. I'm just being real honest. I was not a fan. I'm like Sid Abreu. They're like, they already sat him. I'm like, give him like 5 days rest, okay? Put Dubon at first base. Put Tucker. Why was he playing right field? I don't know.
Tucker needs some time off too. So he's played mostly. He's had one off day, but you know who hasn't had an off day? Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena has played every game this year.
They need him there, but that's the thing. Like Pena's young, man. These guys.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that every time.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean,
he's in kindergarten. He still has the energy.
I'm sorry. I grew up in an era where guys were in their late 20s, not missing games, i.e. Cal Ripken Jr. I mean, Come on, man. We got to like, what are they getting? Are they getting paid to rest, or are they getting like Like they're like, well, workload and all this stuff. And I'm like, I get that. But why was that argument not ever a thing back then? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's players are built differently nowadays. I think it's the strength training. I think it's a lot of stuff that the players
They
back
do
then.
off the field, and so their bodies need more rest because I mean, because you look at Pena, he looks like a freaking tank. Yeah, I guess he does need a rest. Maybe bulking up's not the answer in baseball. I mean, I don't know. Until the steroid era, I don't remember a whole lot of guys looking super muscular.
Just remember when John Singleton came, this is way before the Astros released him initially. He came to camp like looking all ripped and all muscular and everything. So,
yeah. Well, look, here's the deal. Alex Bregman, comes in, hits a home run. Caratini comes in. Every one of his home runs in his major league career, actually from the left side. So that's pretty cool. Actually, every one of them with the Astros, and I think his last 9. So maybe not every single one. I think he has 1 or 2 right-handed. But I love that he's coming in. Again, in our last segment, I do want to dive into Diaz a little bit because I think I know what's going on with him. I think I figured it out. But this rotation, the pitching continues to get better. But at the end of the day,
we skipped over Breggy here.
Oh, we just talked. I mean, okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, don't tease us, Alex Bregman. And on this road trip, he's batting 292, 320, 625 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Just when we think that, okay, Bregman's back, what does he do? He kind of goes in a little slump again.
Right.
Oh, I've discovered my swing. Oopsie, I forgot how to do it again. So if the Astros are going to have any hope of doing anything this year, they're on pace for 75, 72, 75 wins, whatever it is. I think I said 80 last night. But if they're going to have any chance to get to 80 wins, it's going to be Alex Bregman. And if he wants to have any hope of getting a contract, it's going to be Alex Bregman.
Do you realize how far we've fallen?
I know. I know. We're talking about 90 wins to start the season. Now we're talking if we can only get to 80 wins.
I would say 94 wins.
Yeah, I know.
That makes me depressed. I don't want to hear you say 80 wins ever again until that's an definite possibility.
Well, they have to win. They can't be winning losing these games where your pitchers give you quality starts. 8 quality starts in a row.
I know. It's pretty messed up. It's such a topsy-turvy world. It is absolutely insane. Yeah. Corbin says bring back Joeyville. Yeah, definitely. I have no idea why Joey is in AAA, not playing for this team, Eric. And right. Bregman was asked after the game, and I don't know who asked him. They said, so do the boos give you some extra juice? Do they give you like an extra oomph, out there and he goes, no. Like he blew it off. Like he could give 2, about all the fans in Seattle booing, boo, you cheater, or whatever they yell, boo, I ate crickets for lunch or whatever they do up there in Seattle. But I mean, what?
These are how many extra base hits there were in this series by the Astros.
Hey,
6.
Let me tell you. Okay, go ahead. You got more?
3 of them were by Alex Bregman. So in this series, you had 3 extra base hits by Alex Bregman. So 50% of your extra base hits were by Bregman. The rest of them were singles. The Astros were getting hits. It's just they forgot how to hit the extra bases. And you had Caratini with the home run today, which was great. Then you had Bregman with the triple and the home run. It's just, I don't know what's going on with this team. Alvarez can't hit the ball anymore. You have Altuve. Where is he? Is he in the lineup still? Is he doing anything? So it's just like this team all of a sudden has just forgotten to do what it's so good at. They're still getting in singles, but getting those big clutch hits, and they're not going to win until they do that.
It's the clutch hits. It's the hitting with runners in scoring position. Right. And that's what I tweeted about yesterday, just them being, first in batting average, first in strikeouts for the least amount. They lead the AL in on-base percentage, third in slugging percentage, Eric. And it's just, this is a weird year for the Houston Astros.
Yes, definitely. So I know that we're going to talk a little bit about the rotation. The Astros have been doing pretty good. We're going to talk a little bit about the Twin series. The Twins are pretty good, but they're pretty close to being where I guess AL West in terms of run differential. So we'll talk about this and more in a second.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and check out the deal they have for you. And I'm here to tell you that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel also will list the Houston Astros as the 6th most likely team to win the World Series. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and check out the deal they have for you. And I'm here to tell you that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel also will list the Houston Astros as the 6th most likely team to win the World Series. That's right. Believe it or not. Technical difficulties. Let's roll on to the third segment, and I will get our other sponsor up here in a second.
Okay.
So let's talk about the rotation improving, but also the impending opponent in the Minnesota Twins, who have become a more of a fearful opponent and a feared opponent than they have in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I know you're talking about the rotation. The rotation has looked pretty good. The run differential, they're +3 compared to the Astros, but there's a big difference in between the +3. The Twins are 31 and 25, while the Astros are 25 and 32. The Astros have a -4 run differential, while the Twins have I think I said a +3 run differential. So there's a big difference. And I think it's a lot of it, the Astros have been dealing with some bad luck. I think that Josh Hader dealt with a lot of bad luck. I think that a lot of the bullpen early in the season dealt with some bad luck. And I think that the Astros have dealt with a lot of injuries, and I know a lot of teams have as well. But I think the Astros have too much talent to be where they are. But there's this, you think the Astros are going good, then there's a team like the Mariners that just make you look like you are. And the Mariners really put the Astros into place. I mean, you can say all you want about the postseason. The postseason doesn't matter right now. It's all about what they're doing right now. And it's just like,
but what sucks about it is this, Eric, is my point, is that the Mariners offense is not great. We gave up games that were very winnable. I mean, like I said, we didn't walk in and then look, if the Mariners would have come in, if they would have put a stamp on it like 8-1, 9-0, I'd have been like, holy crap, like this. If the Astros get things correct and the Astros do what they're capable of doing, there's no way. I'm sorry. If you're a Mariners fan and watching, if you actually think that this Mariners offense is better than this Houston offense when they're both at peak performance level, it doesn't even compare. So you're going to give me Josh Rojas over Alex Bregman. You're going to give me J.P. Crawford over Jeremy Pena. You're going to give me any of their outfielders over Jake Myers right now and Kyle Tucker, right? I mean, okay.
Julio Rodriguez at beginning season, yes, well, but not right now. Kyle Tucker is much better. Yeah.
Well, okay. So Julio Rodriguez, I think, is a given. Okay. Right. Ty France, I'll give them that. But Cal Riley, he's inconsistent. When he hits, he hits. When he doesn't, he's Chris Carter. I mean, and look, and the reason why I say that is not to deflect the issue of the Houston Astros, but if the Houston Astros had been going the way they've been going the last few years, this year, they would easily be in command of this division. But they're not. And so they dug themselves in a hole. And the only guys that can fix it, you can fire the hitting coach. You can fire the pitching coach. You can bring in Terry Francona. You can fire Joe Espada. You can demote. You can DFA. You can do all those things you want to. But I don't think there's any quick fixes here. I think there are some long-term things that are happening in this clubhouse that have happened with this organization that may affect this club beyond this season. I don't know how hopeful I am anymore about the future of this club and the direction of this team because it seems almost systemic at this point. So the only guys that can fix it right now are the guys in that clubhouse. And as much as I hate Abreu being in there, as long as he's playing, dang it, he better do his damnedest to catch the ball, to hit the ball. And if not, if you don't perform, you don't play, right, Dana Brown? That's what you told us. That's what you told us.
Yeah, the Astros are missing this right here. It's called the it factor. And yes, it's iRobot booklet, but it's the it factor. It's basically they're missing the book that tells them how to win. And it's not, before anybody says it, no, it's not a book of cheat codes. They're missing what it takes to be a winner. And I don't know if that's leadership. I don't know if that's personalities that are no longer on the team. There's something that's missing that drove this team for many years. And most of the personnel is still here. So there's something that's missing.
No, there's
and
stuff.
like
They also have odds on the NBA.
And like I said, that in yesterday's episode, Dusty Baker, the team played for Baker. We can complain all we wanted about the moves and the decisions that he made, but the team played for him. And I don't know if they're doing that. So we're going to take in a second, we're going to talk about Diaz in a second.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel.
Never mind. Okay. So Diaz, he's been struggling this year. So I know a lot of people have been talking about possibly, I know last year, a lot of people said, well, he should catch more. He hits better when he catches. But this year he's batting ninth. He looked like he was the answer at the beginning of the season. Now that he's got more exposure, I know that Joe Espada says he is leading everything. He's leading stuff. He's leading the pitching meetings before the games. He's leading everything like he's supposed to do. He's developing as a catcher, and the ERA is coming down a little bit. But as he's becoming a better catcher, it seems like he's losing some of his skills as a hitter. And typically you see that. Not everybody can be JT Realmuto, Salvador Perez, just the guys that can go out there and just crush the ball consistently. So what do you think that you see with Diaz? You're muted.
I think there is a lot going on between the ears for Diaz, but I also think that we forget that there are things called sophomore slumps in Major League Baseball. I think the book's out on Diaz. I think everybody figured out they didn't have much of a sample size. I mean, if I'm a pitcher studying a hitter and I've only got, 80 games that he played or 60 games or whatever the number of games he played, you realize how easy that is to research. Realize how easy it is to figure that hitter out, because he did still chase stuff out of the zone. They're not giving him anything to hit. And anything that he's getting to hit, it's like he's sitting on something else because he's not really swinging with the effort he had last year. Watch the way he hits. Watch when he flies out, when he hits something opposite field and it goes foul. It's like he is lost at the plate. And I don't know if I think it's a combination of struggling with his confidence. I think it's a combination of struggling with when you have a major league ball club that is out to stop you and hold you back, then you know what? You definitely have you have a massive chore on your hand to try to fix that. And I think it is a combination, like you're talking about with him being the full-time catcher. It's a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many great catchers are in the league at one time, right? There's maybe 3 or 4 that we really talk about. There's between 5 and 8 guys who are decent, and then there's the rest of the league. It's a very difficult position, and that's why, people are like, oh, I guess you miss Maldi now and all this crap. It's like that's like, this is part of the phase of becoming a big league catcher. And
right.
I'll say this until you're blue in the face or anybody's blue in the face. I'm sorry, Dusty. I'm not thanking you for limiting the responsibilities that you put on Diaz last year. I'm just not. Now, maybe they're not as successful. They still got their butts handed to them in the ALCS by the Rangers. So Maldi being in there more didn't make a difference. And I don't think Diaz being in there would have necessarily made a difference, positive or negative. But I think for this year, more experience would have definitely helped him. But I guess we'll never know because we can't turn back the hands of time.
Okay, Alex Bregman. I got that reference there. So, but I think that definitely it's the league is always catches up with you. They go back and research and they figure out how to get you out. Also, I think that he is putting more work into his basically being a better catcher because that's what the Astros want. They want a better defender. Yes, they would love for him to hit, and
Yeah.
I just think that he's just struggling a little bit, but I think that he's going to figure a way out. And I think that we'll see the same hitter that we saw. Like Chris says down there, it's a game of adjustments, and he's going to make the adjustment. Or at some point, the Astros will have to make the decision. Like I think Joe Espada today was asked, well, why don't you go ahead and make him your DH and give him some more time so he's not catching and have Victor Caratini catch a little bit more. But then that's limiting what you can do with Alvarez. And so that there's just by making him a DH, it just it kind of puts Espada has a plan. And I just don't, I think that's going to put a kink in that plan. And I just don't think that you're going to see, you may see it every once in a while, maybe once or twice a month. But I think for the most part, Diaz is going to be catching.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. That is on me, ya boy. And Eric, hey, you have fun on your cruise. And don't think about us while you're on your cruise.
I'll definitely put a lot of pictures on Facebook and Instagram. That way you can be totally jealous.
I'm going to block you.
All right. That's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you're going to subscribe to us. Make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and choose us, and we'll see you later. Go Astros.
1 out of 4 ain't